Good Monday morning. Good Monday morning, everyone. Welcome to Unapologetic Tea Time with your host, PG. That's me. Yes. I am still among the living. Thank God for that. And I am still relatively healthy. I have been really down and depressed and um, emotionally drained and have been grieving um, for a dear friend of mine who is now in hospice care. Quite tough indeed it has been these last 3 or 4 weeks. Um, of course, I myself held on to hope and prayers and trust and believe some of them were answered. I feel, in my opinion, but at the same time, um, God had a different plan or has a different plan. Still hurts, but nevertheless, um, this too is a part of life. But with that being said, um, I am coming on this morning um, because I wanted to let everyone know um, who have reached out to me and various friends, YouTubers, um, social media friends, and the like, um, that I'm not doing so great. Um, but I am trying to keep it together, and it is very hard. So if I make a mistake or if I seem a little bit distant, um, don't charge it to my heart, charge it to my head. With that being said, I'm going to move on, as I know some of you who are beginning to come in um, see the title of this vlog, COVID-19 ain't over. And it ain't over. It ain't over till it's over. But unfortunately, um, thank you, Aaron. Um, unfortunately, this is something that we all must deal with for the here and now in our great nation. And thank you so much, Aaron. But as we continue to try to move forward, y'all, hey, Miss Monique, how you doing? We have to realize that states opened up on a political gain, a political um, feud, as we may call it. States opened up um, on a whim, or we can say opened up on a wing and a prayer. And now, unfortunately, thank you, Miss Monique. I really appreciate that. We are now having to bear the brunt of the greed and the politics versus human life that the states and the federal government basically traded us for. This virus continues to wreak havoc and will continue to wreak havoc, in my opinion, based on the scientific evidence that I have had the privilege of reading and I've had the privilege of conversing with a few people that I know who are at the CDC here in Atlanta, Georgia. And it is very unfortunate that it has had to come to this, where states are now having to backtrack and having to pump their brakes, because we're facing something that basically didn't have to be, because we have not seen a new wave or a second wave. We're still in the original coronavirus firsthand phase, as you may call it. This is not a second wave. So let's be mindful of that, to all of my loyal subscribers and my YouTube listeners who pop in and out from time to time. Let's be very aware that this is not a second wave. Don't believe that if you hear that, because we're not in a second wave. The second wave, they're not predicting to hit until sometime in the mid to late fall into winter. But unfortunately, we still have to deal with what we're being dealt as far as the hand of cards right now. And it's terrible. It's terrible. The number of new coronavirus cases in the US alone is surging to levels, y'all, that have not ever been seen in the course of this pandemic before. I'm going to say it again. The surge, the levels that they're seeing right now in various states, and we're talking about half of the US, but we're talking about 6 to 8 of these high profile states that have such a surge in their numbers for the new cases on a daily. And just this past weekend alone, we saw 5 states that had record-breaking days. Record-breaking. And that's sad. To be honest, there are more cases that have not even been included in the numbers that have been given out. Right now, we're up 65% overall in the last 2 weeks in the amount of new cases nationwide. And we have to do something about it. Unfortunately, we don't have leadership at the top. It's unfortunate that certain states don't have the leadership, and including the state of Georgia does not have the leadership at the top, and I mean governor, in order to keep or to try to curtail the virus versus the economy. Dead folks do not spend money in an economy. They cannot participate and make it viable. I don't give a damn how they try to lie or tell you anything different. Y'all know that if you ain't living and breathing and walking and talking, you do not participate in an economy. Whether the economy is ransacked or whether the economy is lucrative, whether the economy is in a recession or a depression, it just doesn't happen that way. So I'm coming on and I'm asking all of my subscribers and my listening audience on my tiny platform to please be aware of what is happening in your area of the country that you live in, meaning your state and your city or township. It is very, very important that we stay abreast And I know a lot of people, you guys, have stopped looking at the news, perhaps. A lot of people have stopped tuning in, per se, to the radio, or have stopped reading the newspaper because day in and day out it was Black Lives Matter and this and that and the coronavirus. And, you know, some people are sick and tired of being sick and tired. Well, this ain't going away. Black lives matter. Yes, our lives matter. And I'm not saying, or what it is saying is not saying that all lives don't matter, but we're focused on how African Americans and Black Americans have been treated so engrossly wrong for hundreds of years in this great nation that we call the United States of America, in this, what we know as a democracy. But however, it has not been of equal footing for every ethnicity. So, with that being said, and knowing that we are up by 65% overall increase in a 2-week period with this coronavirus, we're in trouble, y'all. Whether people want to hear it, people want to know it or not, we're in trouble. So, to my people, I want you to take a close look at your finances. I want you to take a close look at your budget. I need you to take a close look at your savings. And I need you to take a close inventory of the items that you need on a daily basis. 1 second, y'all, I'll be right back. Y'all, I had gotten an alert on my phone for one of my cameras, and I really needed to go and address to see what it was that's going on. But I think it's more or less the wind. I didn't see anything, and there's no alarms that's going off out there. So we'll see. I'm sorry that I had to duck out for that second. I needed to go to the window and look out. But I need you to be vigilant as to the inventory that you take on what you need for you and or your family, or both, because some people are single, some people have families or whatever, to live on a daily basis. And I mean supplies, personal protection equipment. I'm talking about food. I'm talking about water. I'm talking about, perhaps your transportation. Let's include that. All of the necessary daily things that you need to sustain yourself in a safe manner. I need you guys to take a inventory of that and assess what it is you can add and what it is that you need to concentrate on stocking up on, while some things are more plentiful in certain areas than in other areas, but you do have a little bit of time to gather certain things, such as, will there be another run on toilet paper? Perhaps. Will there be a run on paper towels? Well, toilet paper is being stocked, but paper towels have run out pretty much. In certain areas, certain things, meat, has continually been on the rise as far as prices go. We have just had a serious recall on some bagged lettuce. Remember some months ago, I talked about starting a garden, you know, put them in little container pots or something. You know, it's hot in certain areas of the country, so your lettuce will probably bolt on you or whatever, but you can still grow tomatoes and cucumbers or something like that. So that's one less item that you would have to travel to get. You would have to go outside of your home to get. That's one less or couple less items that you would have to go and purchase at the store and subject yourself to perhaps becoming infected, or just subject yourself to leaving your house and having to stop by a grocery store or supermarket or whatever. So, in doing your inventory, look to see what it is that you can add to what you already have and try to stock up as best you can. If you are one of the lucky ones who perhaps have not gotten furloughed or laid off or lost their job entirely, then, and if you're still getting a paycheck, let's add another $10 or $15 to your groceries to perhaps get a few more items that you normally wouldn't just stock up on. Tomato sauce, tomato paste, spaghettis, noodles, uh, um, dehydrated potatoes, such as I don't know, Idaho, potatoes in the envelope packages or in the box, where you can quickly make some mashed potatoes. Those are heavy. Those will add a little bulk to your, to the meals, your diet or whatever. Different things. Maybe picking up just a packet of dry powdered milk. You can add some water. It may not be as flavorful as regular vitamin D milk out of the carton, but in a pinch, it will do. Keep in mind, make sure you have water, you know, at least a gallon per person, or at least a half a gallon per person, let's say, to be conservative, but per day. But try, it's better to have a little bit of something extra than to not have anything at all, because we don't know where this is going. This is all over the place. And unfortunately, this virus knows no bounds. It has no boundaries. It does not give a damn about political views and opinions. It does not see political parties or uh, affiliates. None of that. It does not matter what ethnicity you are. It does not matter what your social status is. It does not matter what your economic status is. It doesn't matter if you are living on the east side, the west side, the back of town, front of town, cross the tracks. It doesn't matter. So it's up to the citizens of the nation to take charge in what we can do to keep ourselves as healthy and as prosperous and as sustaining as we can, because we have no leadership. We have no federal leadership. And in half of the damn states, we don't have any government leadership at the state level. So we have to take things in our own hands for our own selves so that we're able to survive. The realization for many people, many Americans, shall I say, is simple. Many people have yearned for an opportunity to return to some kind of normalcy. Well, returning to normalcy is never going to happen, unfortunately, as we knew it was 3-4 months ago. This is kind of like a new normal that hopefully we won't have to continue to get used to. But like the old adage or the old saying goes, when in Rome, you do like the Romans. Well, right now, we must do what we got to do to survive. And if that means wearing a mask, then you need to be wearing your mask. Because not only are you protecting you, but you are protecting others. From you, you could be asymptomatic, not showing anything at all, no signs, no symptoms, no illness, and be full of the coronavirus and passing it on. Because let me tell you something, because it hasn't hit your family or hasn't hit your employment or your particular place of worship or wherever, does not necessarily mean that it won't. You know, you may live with some elderly people that may have some underlying conditions, and you're out there doing the most, partying and everything, and shooting the shit and shooting the breeze and going here and yonder and everywhere, and you bring that shit home to them. Okay? That's how that goes. Or vice versa. Someone at your job, you going to work every day, you wearing your mask, and then you letting your guard down. All of a sudden you in the little lunchroom and you just smacking and eating and whatever, no mask. Then you outside, you hanging in there, you and your buddy, y'all talking and chatting it up, no mask. Your buddy got the coronavirus and passes it on to you. Your family depends on you for financial independence and freedom, and you get sick in the hospital or can't work or whatever. What's going to happen to your family who are depending on you, your wife, your children or whatever, or your husband and children or whatever? What's going to happen? So this can be a chain reaction, but also we know that masks, the wearing of masks, help to curtail, to keep this thing at bay. So it is very important that you have a chat with your children, especially your teenagers and your little bit older children, about the safety issue at hand of wearing a mask and washing their hands properly to keep from passing things from person to person to person. Yes, we're all tired, y'all. I know. We're tired of being cooped up. You know, I live by myself. You know, I have a few friends. I got one right now in hospice care, a dear friend. You know, got a few other friends. Got quite a number of associates. But I say that to say this. We all, because of who we are and the race that we are and the type of people that we are used to human touch. We're used to human interaction. That is a part of our makeup. We cannot do anything about that. That is a part of that's stamped in us. That is a part of who we are as people, period. So it's hard to socially distance yourself completely. Basically, I feel like I'm cut off from the world damn near. You know, I like going to my little favorite restaurants a couple times a week, different things, and socializing, you know, once or twice a month, go out and have a monthly little cocktail or something, maybe go listen to some jazz or something. I miss that because now all that's been taken away from me. I can't do it any longer. There's places that are open. Well, fuck, I can't run the risk of going in these places and people won't wear masks. They're doing the most, and I infect myself. I don't have any family here in Georgia at all. The closest to family that I had is my friend laying over in hospice care right now here in Georgia. So, I mean, damn. She was on dialysis. They've stopped the dialysis. So I know that the days are numbered now and it won't be long. But y'all, it's hard. And I realize that. And I understand why people are gung-ho and flying the coop basically. But you can't forget and let your guard down. I watched people protesting in the streets, and I still see this and what have you. I had to protest, not silently, but I had to protest on social media, and I had to protest using my vote during the primary here in Georgia. I had to protest via phone and everything else, but I could not go out into the streets and be exposed, unfortunately, because other people chose not to protect themselves and help protect others. I just couldn't take that chance. So the leadership we know has failed, y'all, and has failed us greatly to control this coronavirus pandemic. And they chose money and greed and politics over human life. Y'all, but it's up to us to turn this around and take heed and every precaution that we can, because we can survive this. Not everybody's going to survive it, but there's a high likelihood chance that if you try to do the right thing and do what the scientists have encouraged us to do, which we know will flatten those curves and knock some of those numbers down, let's do it, y'all. Let's do it. Because right now, we can't have normalcy right now. We have to just have what we know right now is this new normalcy, you know? I want to ask this question, and I'm going to be frank about asking the question. I want to know how Americans feel about the country right now. I asked I guess it's been about 3 weeks now. I asked this question on a social media platform of mine, and I got quite a number of answers, quite a number of funny answers, and quite a number of not so funny answers, and quite a number of answers, some of them that didn't even make any sense. But with asking that question of how do Americans feel about the country right now, I'm going to give you my short answer. I'm going to sum it up. And I'm going to sum it up for you in 4 words: anxious, hopeful, exhausted, and fucking angry. Anxious, hopeful, exhausted, and fucking angry. That's my summary of how Americans feel about the country right now. Not everybody is anxious. No. Not everybody is hopeful. No. Not everybody is exhausted. And not everybody is fucking angry. But this is my take on how Americans feel about the country right now. Now I'm going to move on swiftly and professionally. I want to move on to my next topic for discussion, or just a thought, shall I say. And this thought came to mind shortly before I finished writing up my little outline for this evening, or for this early morning vlog. And I want to thank Donald Jackass Trump, And I know that some of you listening right now are going to probably do a double take, but I want to thank this motherfucker right now, personally, for doing something that he didn't fucking intend to do, but he did. So I'm going to say thank you, Donald Jackass fucking Trump, for bringing forth the amount of pressure and the amount of debate and the amount of anguish and the amount of exhaustion for us to rise up on your asses, including the fucking podunk state of fucking Mississippi, so much so that we already know that they're the home of the last state banner in the country with an overt Confederate symbol. Even they are taking that motherfucker down. Thank you, Donald Jackass Trump, because trust and believe, I know you didn't mean to do what you done. But now we done rose up to the occasion. And now it has garnered a chain reaction. You even got fucking Aunt Mama Pancakes getting ready to change the name. You got Uncle fucking Ben getting ready to change the name. You got, oh my God, you got so much. But I know you didn't intend to do this shit. But I want to say thank you, you ignorant motherfucker, for setting it on fire like you did. And now our voices, for once, is being heard. And things are changing. I never thought in my lifetime that I would see the state of Mississippi take the fucking Confederate part of their flag off the fucking flag. Thank you, Donald Jackass Trump, for being so motherfucking dumb and so motherfucking messy and so unempathetic and so fucking pathetic that you did something you didn't even intend to do. Thank you. Because really and truly, with Mississippi taking their Confederate symbol completely off of their state flag, that's some grade A shit right there. That's fucking grade A. Right there. Yes, indeed. Even Princeton University, y'all, is removing racist ass Woodrow Wilson's name from its buildings. It's got a few buildings named, with the Woodrow Wilson name up there on their building. They taking that shit completely down. And programs citing the former president's racist thinking and politics. That's unbelievable, y'all. I want y'all to think about that for a minute. Just think. Are y'all through thinking? What does that actually mean, y'all? What does that actually mean, y'all? That means progress. That means finally progress. That means finally people are opening their eyes to the amount of fucking systemic racism that has been ingrained and entrenched in this country. From food products, to names on buildings, to statues, they pulling them down left and right, to flags that fly that represent states, on down to fucking police brutality on people of color, on down to murdering people of color, calling out Karens and Beckys and crazy ass white folk, period, doing the most in public, keep getting their asses fired, companies disassociating themselves from them, executives cutting the food, losing their job, just a mess. Think about what this has done. 2020. I know that we have a coronavirus pandemic, a global pandemic. We're in a recession, and now we're in a race war. 2020. And this is a major election year. All of that going on at the same time. And let's add in our American troops in Afghanistan and other places have had bounties placed on their heads. Let's add this into the mix. Bounties placed on their heads to be killed. And yet, the so-called leader-in-chief he is, the non-leader-in-chief, was briefed on this several times. Documentation, everything. And of course, just a couple days ago, he says, oh, I never knew anything about that. Everything about Donald Trump is a lie. It's sad. But who would have thought 2020 would be this type of a year? I know I never thought about it being like this. I wish I could turn back the hands of time, kind of, sort of. Only on certain things. But damn, y'all. And now, let's talk about the goddamn Affordable Health Care Act, also known as Obamacare, that a lot of you folks who lost your jobs have actually come to the Affordable Health Care Act and have gotten it, and it has become a safety net for you and your family, or you and your family as well. Many millions of people have lost their jobs and their health care included. But now, yet again, y'all are facing a bitter Supreme Court battle during a presidential election year, just because Donald Jackass Trump doesn't want to have anything with President Obama's name tied to it. But he's so stupid. It was Hillary Clinton who actually was the founder, basically, and pushed for the Affordable Health Care Act to what it is today. Hillary Clinton. She started with the children, for the insurance for the children, uninsured babies and children and toddlers. And then it developed into for everyone. It was not President Obama. Unfortunately, though, not unfortunately, but fortunately, during his tenure of service as president, they were able to pass the legislation to make it what it is today. And this man has taken this all the way to the Supreme Court, y'all. But white folks and black folks, green folks, orange folks, blue folks, yellow folks, pink folks, purple folks. If you lost your job and you are a staunch bigot or staunch racist or whatever you are, and you went and applied for health care and was able to afford it, it was because of the Affordable Health Care Act. Okay? Just know what you're on is the Affordable Health Care Act, otherwise known as Obamacare. But be careful, because they're trying to pull that out from underneath you as you want to continue to make America great again. Be mindful of how you may be hurting your own self. I'm just saying. This is PG, and you are listening to Unapologetic Tea Time with your host, PG. That's me. I'm just going to keep it fucking real with you. Just be careful. Just be careful of wishing for something and it end up coming to bite you in your ass. Just be careful. I'm just saying. But I think it's a sin and a shame that bounties are being offered on the heads of our American troops abroad. Targeted killings and widespread attacks across Afghanistan and in other countries. And it's sickening to know that the liar in chief he is says nobody told him anything about that. It's the first time he's heard of it. Sad. Very sad indeed. Excuse me. But y'all, it is June, towards the end of June. And it has been Pride Month this month. And 51 years ago, I want to let you know, 51 years, trans women of color led the uprising at Stonewall Inn in New York City. Followed by a dramatic shift in the LGBTQ community on activism. And it followed for generations to come. But never, ever has the Black trans people been put at the center of the movement that they helped start until this year. Isn't that something? That's amazing to me. Finally, that may be changing. A change that has been long overdue. 2020, y'all, stacking up to be a fucking year that you'll never forget. And last, y'all, I want to talk about two things. One of the things I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to close out, is the statehood for Washington, D.C. Now, it passed in the House. But of course, you know, the Senate is going to say, hell no. You know, D.C. is majority blacks. And there's a lot to be said. They don't have a representative vote, nor do they have a Senate vote. There's a lot of things that would be good to come out of DC becoming the 51st state in the Union. But unfortunately, it's going to be a long uphill battle, I think. And to be honest, statehood for Washington, D.C. would fix a lot of things. And I think that from a partisan standpoint, the Republican the Republican Senate knows this. And they're not willing to give up what they have that they're holding on to just yet without a fight. And that's bad. But I am hoping that their hearts will soften, and I'm hoping that they will do the right thing. There's always hope. But I would really like to see statehood for Washington, D.C. That would be great. Lastly, y'all, I want to talk about life in general and how quickly things can go downhill. You know, life is not a bed of roses all the time. People who have children and who've raised their children to be grown and gone or whatever, or people who have children in general, period. The children did not come with instruction booklets attached to them. Parenting, everybody has their way and everybody has a style of parenting. You know, over the years, different styles and different types of parenting and different things have changed. You know, but I'm going to say this, and I'm going to touch on it, and I'm going to get off of it. But a lot of times, grown children even though the parent or parents were not drug addicts, or even if they were, doesn't matter, but were not drug addicts, and they tried to do the best that they could do with what they had to work with and what have you, and there were some mistakes that were made along the way, but they only tried to do what they did in order to maybe give them a better life as far as their children are concerned. And not all the time they were always in the house with the children because they were working and were trying to better themselves or whatever, so that the children would have a better life. But a lot of times we as people, period, will hold on to some shit that you need to let fucking go. We'll hold on to some shit that you need to go get some fucking help. You know, you let stuff fester and then it hinders you from your own growth, or you will hold your mother's feet to the fire because of some dumb fucked up bullshit in your head that you think that they did to you deliberately. Perhaps, I don't know, because I wasn't there, but I can only see what I see. But then you're almost 40-year-old man, and you're over 40s, in your 40-year-old woman, brother and sister, but y'all are still stuck on your mama leaving you and letting you stay with your grandmother in order for her to become a better person and get a better life so that you all would have a better life. Different things of that nature. And it's sad for you to stay stuck on stupid and parked on dumb and not forgive and move forward and get yourself the necessary help that you need in order to be able to be the best person that you can be. But you so stuck back in La La Land and don't want to have a relationship with your mama, or, you know, but when you need something, or when you set your ass in jail or what have you, but your mama was there for you. But now your mother is in hospice care and you ain't been to see her yet. Before she even got to that stage, you didn't even go to see her. But yet, if she leaves a house or something for you, move your motherfucking ass into it. You see what I'm saying? But that's some trumped up bullshit right there. And I'm going to say it because it's on my heart. And everybody that knows PG, or everybody that knows Pat, or the people down home know me as PG, Pat, or long old timers know me as Lil Boss. Long before I'm a boss or boss like or be like a boss or boss lady, where I was Lil Boss back in fucking high school. You heard me? High school. And this was the late 70s, early 80s. All right. Now, I'm going to say what I want to say, how I want to say it, because it needs to be said. Okay? You writing your home to your mama when your ass was locked up in jail so that she could send you some fucking zuzus. You pimp your own mama. And then she tells you she's in need of a kidney. You say, oh, well, mama, when I get home, I'm going to try to I'm going to go get tested and see if I'm going to be a donor or whatever. Well, bitch, you been home for 2 years now. 2+ years. Over 2 years. And you ain't did a motherfucking thing. If you went and got tested, I did. Reason I can't do it is because I have hypertension. All right. And I'm considered overweight. So, but how could you pimp your mama? Okay. But yet all she wanted was a kidney and beat kidney disease. That's all she wanted. Her grandchildren wouldn't even go get tested. It's unbelievable to me how we can, but trust and believe, y'all. You're going to see that again, that you're reaping right now, that you're sowing, you will reap. Those bad seeds, you'll reap. Trust and believe. You reap what you sow. But it's amazing to me. I wish I did have my mother here with me. Even if it was for just another week. But it's unbelievable how you act. And you're less than a fucking man. I'm going to tell you now, Nicholas Rogers, you're less than a man. I'm going to call you out. Nicole, whatever excuse you got or whatever, I call an ace, a spade, a spade. I'm going to call you out by name. Mark Rogers, your grandmother loved you like her own child, like her own son. She put you on a pedestal. What you do, you broke her heart. I don't know how y'all can live with yourselves. DJ, when she asked you about going to get tested or whatever, you tell her, well, I don't want to have no scar. That's something to tell your grandmother. That's unconscionable to me. And that was one of your grandmother's favorite fucking words, unconscionable. When something would be so outlandish and so outdoing. It's unbelievable. I don't know where you people came from. Maybe y'all got mixed up at birth or something and y'all not really her children. I don't know. And no, she hasn't been a patron saint. But she has tried to be all she could be for all of y'all. This I know. And now that we're coming to the end of the road for her, as we know her life is ending, it's amazing to me how y'all can sleep at night. It's amazing that me being her ex-partner and a good friend after our relationship was over, even being friends with her new partner of 10+ years who has given up basically the start of a new relationship and flew back to Georgia to help, to try to help take care of y'all's mother and grandmother with myself and her sister and your mother's mother, who's 80 years old. Unreal how y'all live. I just don't know what to say about that. But y'all life is short. Forgive and move forward before it destroys you. Whatever it is, whether it be with a best friend or your brother, your sister, your mama, your daddy, work on forgiveness so that you can heal yourself. Work on yourself so that you can move forward instead of staying stuck and wallowing in something that you don't have to be wallowing in, and yet wanting people to feel sorry for you when you won't even help your own self. You lay on your sister's leg and you almost a 40-year-old man. Don't hit a lick at a stick. That's unbelievable. Who the fuck does that? You know, you motherfuckers need to be committed into an institution, because all you're doing is existing and just taking up motherfucking space and smoking dope. But yet, you want people to feel sorry for you. I don't feel sorry for you. Not at all. You're sorry ass individuals. Yeah. But feeling sorry? No. Mm-mm. But y'all do what y'all have to do to make it right with your loved ones. Because you know what, y'all? Tomorrow ain't promised. This very next minute ain't promised to none of us, y'all. Life is so short and so precious. We don't get no fucking do-overs, y'all. We don't get no do-overs. Because once that individual is gone, you don't get to fucking do it over again and make it right. The time to give them flowers, the time to make it right is while they're here. That's just a thought that I had. And that's just something that I wanted to get off my chest. And trust and believe, as I'm sitting right here at 1:11 a.m. on Monday morning, when it's all over, I'll be able to rest well, knowing that I was there. And I did my best to make sure that my friend knew that I cared if y'all didn't. I did my best. And so with that being said, I'm going to be okay. It's not easy losing someone that you care about, you know, and that you had friendship with for 15 years, through the ups and downs, good times, bad times, everything. It's not easy. knowing that they were a vibrant person, youthful, very intelligent, well spoken, a wordsmith, and to see them laying in the state that they're in now, I still put on my mask and gloves and whatever and went to that hospital. Not once, several times to visit them, to let them know that they're loved. So, y'all, forgive your people, your friends, your family. Move forward, even if it means getting yourself the help that y'all need in order to be that a better person and to move forward and let it go before it eats you alive, before it stops you from having relationships and stops you from garnering good friendships and developing things and growing within yourself. Get the help that you need. Let it go, y'all. Let it go. Because tomorrow ain't promised. And it's not about what you said, it's about what you do that makes that mark for you. It's not about what you saying. Because see, talk is cheap, y'all. It's about what you do and how you do these things and how you go about carrying out things. It's not about all that talk, because talk is cheap and anybody could talk a good game. But it's about who shows up and who shows out, who steps up and who steps back, or who don't even step up or back at all. Life is short, y'all. Remember that. And we only get one life to live. Well, it's been good, y'all. I really appreciate y'all listening to me. I hope that y'all can take away some of the points that I have made this morning and move forward and be safe. And remember to inventory your finances, your food situation, your budget. Do what you have to do so that you can better position yourself to be able to withstand what's coming in the future, to hold up and be safe with this virus that's going on. And above all, be true to oneself. Good morning and good night. Bye now.